It is the 17th of October, 1938, and the situation in Europe is becoming more and more tense. The Germans are making advances and expanding their territory. They have taken over Austria. For now, we are on good terms with Germany, and maybe we can end up dividing Europe between the two of us. The Finns, however, are starting to mass troops along the borders, and we're still not quite certain if Japan at some point is going to be starting to stir up trouble as well. As such, our friends in Mongolia are fortifying their positions as well, and Japan is currently fighting China. Has managed to take Beijing and get across the rivers, but has also managed to get a lot of their divisions encircled. So we will see if they can break out from these pockets and cause more trouble in the east. For now, we are going to have to work around one problem that we're having, which is that we need to actually, at least on this side here, make sure that we are fortifying the ports. Given that there are no Japanese troops on the border here, I am going to get this army here in the Asian theater slightly modified. So instead of doing this, we are going to go on a not on a fallback line, but actually on an area defense, and we're going to focus on victory points and ports. And as such, we're going to include Vladivostok. Basically these areas here, and we can probably airports, supply hubs and railways. Yep, that looks about right. We've got 17 divisions, we would need 18. Perfect. Okay, so we'll switch these over to make sure that they're guarding the area here, just in case the Japanese get any funny ideas. And yes, I did say we will need to promote somebody soon, but for now, let's just be happy that Stalin has stopped shooting people, and we're still focusing on production. Now, we are going to need to start focusing on armaments production at some point. We do have a good surplus of trucks. Support equipment's running a little low. We do have a bunch of light tanks and starting to have some medium tanks laying around now as well. And I just want to see how many, so if we were taking the light tank division, if we were going to duplicate that and swap these out for medium tanks, and I just want to see what that would look like in terms of numbers that we're going to be needing. So that would be 250 medium tanks, even just for a small division, and that's an 18 width. So we would be looking at something a little bit more substantial. So probably, we got 6 here. Let's make that 8 medium tanks, and no, actually more mobile battalions, and they do need infantry support. So this would be a 30 combat width, would need 400 medium tanks to operate. So, and we haven't even done any artillery or anything just yet. So yeah, we're way behind in terms of production, which means we are going to need to start pulling in some military factories ever so slowly. And yes, we do need to increase our our output in terms of mining as well. How are we looking right now? We're still on free trade, but we are trading steel. It looks like Japan's trading for aluminium, and we're trading with Japan for oil. So we have no shortage of any of these things, but we are running a little low on tungsten, and yes, rubber is something that we're actually going to need to import. So we are throwing in a couple of infrastructure projects here. And then we will need to start putting up some military factories once we're through this line here of factory construction. We're slowly going to start adding in some military factories and ramping up production of everything. But for now, I think I did. Yeah, let's have a quick look if we can, because we currently got 2 field marshals, but they're both very inexperienced. So we have Voroshilov here. and we've got Budyonny. And well, let's have a look if there is anybody who we could promote, to be a field marshal. We could promote Konev, to be honest, or Rokossovsky. These are sort of the more experienced generals that we have. They're both armor officers, but he's political connected. He's a harsh leader, which I'm not a huge fan of. So maybe Rokossovsky would be a good choice to promote to field marshal. He's not cowed by Stalin, and he is an armor genius. So he's already having the advisory role. So he wouldn't actually gain anything from leveling up. But he'd be good to have in any case. So I kind of like the stats better on Konev's side, but I'm not quite fond of the political connected is not particularly helpful, and harsh leader. I take the recovery rate, to be honest. And while he is a panzer leader, what skills? They don't have any skills at the moment assigned, but they've got 2 traits or 2 open traits that we could assign. So I think I'm going to promote Rokossovsky for now, and then we are going to use him instead of Voroshilov here, as actually Budyonny is currently suffering. So maybe we'll exchange Budyonny for him until that's resolved, because he is not cowed by Stalin. So he's going to take the 1st Army Group West. And given that he is an armor officer, I am going to not actually go with the defensive doctrine for him, but we're going to give him the aggressive assaulter. What is he actually? Yeah, he's got the brilliant strategist, so he can get the aggressive assaulter as well. And then as a second, we can give him recovery rate or just offensive doctrine. I think I'll take offensive doctrine, honestly. There we go. Okay, so now we have a relatively decent... we've got another trait still. He's got three traits open that we could assign. So reinforce rate is more important, I think, than recovery for him. So that's that. Okay, and that means we are now going to have to start bringing in. Can we assign any more medals? We've got General Milko, who could be, or he is not a general. He's some form of general, but I think if I promote him, he will get armor officer. So I don't have the command power to do that just yet, but can I give them another medal? Grant citation. What can we give him? Division organization, HP, entrenchment. I'm not sure if this stays with the divisionary command or if that stays with him. I haven't used this mechanic just yet. So max entrenchment, division recovery rate, or division organization. HP might be not bad for a tank division. Entrenchment definitely is not necessary. We might just assign this one first, and this mountaineer division could get plus 10% orc is maybe not bad, or plus 15% recovery rate. What am I going to give him? Additional HP? I'm not sure. We're going to give him the battle merit medal for now for recovery rate, and this will be. And yes, so again, I'm not sure if this will stay with him or if this will stay with the division, but we've done that, and that's out of the way. Okay, next up, we are currently getting ourselves another research slot, but the big step that I want to take next is I want to rush construction 4, but for that we need to get through the 5-year plan. So let us continue. We are also, since we're now no longer needing to spend political power on dealing with Stalin's shenanigans, And I can't remember where I did want to know. These are mountaineers. These are the tanks. Yeah, Vlasov can take the newcomers. So let's just actually assign everybody these 22 divisions also all to Vlasov. Did that do it? There. Nope, it doesn't want to. Okay, fair enough. Fine, we'll do it by hand. So we'll assign it to Vlasov when we need to, but we do need to get our stability higher, which is good. So we also need to get, don't think I need to get a theorist just yet, but I am thinking of, this is actually quite fascinating. It's motorization research, but this would be infantry equipment, I think, or artillery. Maybe we'll go with artillery. And we need a tank designer. I haven't really looked into these just yet. Probably a, what is this? Medium reliability and soft attack. This is speed and reliability, soft attack and armor. And this would be armor and hard attack. I don't think this just applies to heavy tanks, but I'll have to check. And we also do need an aircraft designer. Now, one thing that has been mentioned is that, hey, we should probably, sorry, I'm just addressing a couple of the comments that have been accumulated. We have relatively large air zones. So we're not going to be able to cover the full air zones with the fighters in the range that we currently have. Now, we are going to have some heavy interceptors, but the Soviet Air Force is mainly going to be composed of single-engine airplanes. As such, we're going to have better fighters, and we're going to have better close air support. And I am planning on using the things like drop tanks to get the range improvements to make sure that they're covering these air zones, because the air zones are relatively large, and I am assuming that we'll be fighting somewhere over here. So these air zones are relatively big, and we do need to make sure that we have the range to cover them completely, otherwise it hurts our mission efficiency. Anyway, let us continue. And we're going to have the, okay, what's coming up here? Non-aggression pact with Communist China. Yeah, I accept that. I'm happy with that. We can't support the Chinese yet because I haven't done the foreign policy focuses, but we still need to focus on industry because we are, in fact, actually, we should have 2 spies now. Yes, you start building an intel network in Germany. Let's see what the Germans were up to, because that's going to be done in 74 days. And then we'll get rid of Trotsky, which is going to give us, where is it? That's going to give us 20% stability. So that gets us up to 80%, which is much appreciated. So we'll start building up an intel network in Berlin. No, we will send our Menguko. You can put that wherever you want. We will send our attachés, if we so desire, wherever we want to desire. And yeah, we've got the Chinese attaché still, who is giving us experience. Okay, shipyard staff has the purged shipyard staff has expired, so that's no longer a thing. I think we still have a negative modifier on, yeah, the anti-Soviet thinking. That's affecting the fleet. We can actually do something about that, but I don't want to spend the political power on that because I'm really not that interested. We're probably building up to about 200 convoys, and then I'll switch production into more things like mine layers and such. But yeah, Navy is a secondary consideration. And we are, again, focusing on... We're going to get Concentrated 3 done in a couple of days. That'll open up some more building slots as well and improve our construction speed again significantly, which is already at plus 50% right now. Okay, range improvements are done. It means we can potentially build fighters that have a bit better range. Now, construction 4 is still too far away. We could do, we will eventually have a rubber problem. Right now we're trading for it, so I'm focusing on more important things. We probably want better artillery, so we could rush that, or we could rush the infantry techs. We can also do the 1934 heavies, and I think I'm going to do that just to get the KV-1, because that is going to be relatively quick, and it'll allow us to get the KV-1. Now, I know that medium tanks are better, And we could rush the 1940 medium, but and get the T-34s built. But I'm kind of keen to get the KV-1s actually in the field, at least in smaller numbers, because that's just what the Soviets had at the time. And these things were actually existing, and I would like them to be in the game. So this might not be an ideal use of this research bonus, but it gets it out of the way, and this will get us the KV-1, which we can then start producing in anticipation of a more modern war in Europe. Well, right now the Germans are still peacefully expanding, but who knows how long that'll take. And we will also eventually need to switch away from free trade. But for now, that's what we're researching. We almost got the concentrated 3 done. And then we can use that for something else until we get the economic bonuses out of the... There we go, concentrated industry 3 is done. Now, again, this is 2 years ahead, so this is going to take too long. But we can start we're definitely going to stay on top of the artillery, because artillery is our best friend. I think the air research, I'm keen to get this one, the improved small airframe. I wonder if there's a research bonus anywhere here. This is just air experience, aircraft designer cost. Doesn't look like. So yeah, I'm not going to rush that. There's a increased aircraft production. There's the research bonus. So we'll get some research bonuses, and we might be able to use them. It's still ahead of time. It's still a year ahead of time, but it's too far with the research bonus. I'm going to go for the... Did I not do that? Yeah, I'm going to go for the artillery. So let's do that. And in a couple of days, we get an additional research slot as well. I would love to get the... as a next step, I would love to get the... I probably want a chief of Air Force, to be honest. Just to get the daily gain. We could get the Genius, but it costs 200. And we could go by air accident chance, which wouldn't be bad, or the ground support one, or the all-weather one. I might go for the... Yeah, I'm not sure. I might go for the ground support one. I just want to get the air experience ticking, so it's such that we can get through the doctrines and pick up some there. Because I don't think we can send volunteers to China right now, because again I haven't done the foreign focuses, because we are still focusing on... the industry. So the next parts of the industry we're going to do is 5-year plan, PC of heavy industry, and industrial modernization. So 5-year plan's up next. That will give us. We now have another research slot, and we have an additional percent on research. So we can. Where are we going to put it? This is actually giving... I'm now getting a research bonus from the technology sharing, but is there anything... The Katyusha is also something that we can get... we can start using. I've never used these in the game, so that's also something I'm keen on. But I think for now I will just stay on top of the... Yeah. Either I'm going to get the Chief of Air Force, or I'm going to get the infantry equipment. Although I did say I was going to go for the artillery. So yeah, let's go for... Let's just clear out the infantry equipment research that needs to be done anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to grab the Chief of Air Force once we have 100 political power. There we go. And Chief of Navy, I'm not that interested. So we could get... that is... We've got an expert air reformer, which we don't really need. We could bring in the air safety expert for now and get our air wings training, because that'll reduce it. What's the current shape? So we got a plus 75% air accidents chance, so that's not going to make a difference. In that case, we may as well use the either the ground support. I'm going to go with the ground support, and he can just stay there. So he's just going to be there to tick up some numbers here. And again, we are still behind on infantry equipment, and we are behind on fighters as well. But we're starting to build up some close air support. Do I actually have a CAS-wing up? These are fighters. This is a fighter wing. These are all under strength. And this is strategic bombers. Did I not create an actual close air support wing? These are tactical bombers. No, I might not actually have created one. So let's create our first close air support wing. Unless I forgot. And actually, no, I don't have. Oh yeah, there it is. The prototypes, yeah. So that's going to be the first. I'm not going to get them to train just yet because of the terrible shape of our Air Force, which we will deal with in good time. But for now, we're going to go for the 5-year plan, which is going to improve our production efficiency growth. And more importantly, it gives us 70% research bonus for construction tech, which means in 70 days, when that is finished, then this will finish as well, and then we can go for the construction 4, and it's not going to quite half it, but even though it's 2 years ahead of time, we're still going to go for it already with the 70% bonus, 75% bonus that we're getting. So that's that. One thing I needed to look at, and I can't quite remember, is if where the there's secure. We need to go through Comintern as well. These are all 35-day focuses, but secure the Baltics is not, and secure Leningrad is not either. Secure Leningrad is still a bit off, so we'll deal with that when we get there. We do have, however, 3 civilian factories, so now we can start throwing a couple more military factories into the mix. Let's get 3 military factories built here. And do we have another spot that has gotten some infrastructure recently? That actually now has infrastructure is all terrible over here, but I am for obvious reasons more interested to spread out our industry a little bit more if we can. We've got 6 slots here, so let's build another 3 mills here, and then the rest goes into civilian factories. Okay. And then we will keep improving the infrastructure wherever we are excavating resources. That is just kind of one of those on top things. Specifically tungsten, if I can find it anywhere, and oil obviously eventually as well. There's some aluminium over here. Oh yeah, that's we need to do. Aluminium definitely. And chromium, a bunch of it. Tungsten, there's some tungsten, so we can get that one built up as well. And that should do it for now. Okay, so the next step, now that we've got the 5-year plan, we have lost a bunch of factories, but due to consumer goods right now. But we are working on the 3rd 5-year plan. And once that's complete, then we can get to the PC of heavy industry, which will give us 2 research bonuses, and also take 2% consumer goods factory off again. And the industrial modernization is the one that I'm after, because we can use that 2-year ahead of time bonus for the output. So these 2 we're doing, and then we are switching more heavily into arms production. The Yellow River has been blown. The Chinese have flooded the Yellow River. That is a tragedy indeed. How does it look over in China? Has Japan managed to reconnect their troops? Not quite, but they are definitely making progress southwards. Sorry, it's a bit windy out. They're definitely making progress southwards, and we are now securing Khabarovsk and Vladivostok, as well as the border regions. So we'll see how that turns out, and if the Japanese get any funny ideas. The rest of our troops is just kind of spread around Moscow, and actually we do need to assign these divisions now, because they're getting quite out of hand here, and give these people a fallback line somewhere around the front here, where they can. Let's get them to sit here for now. and that'll get them to move actually. We're still short on infantry equipment, so that's something we need to sort out as well still, but we're still recruiting more divisions because we definitely need more of them. And we're recruiting another 24 divisions of guards infantry. And yeah, there we go. I am not quite certain, before we get to that, I'm not quite certain if I'm going to mix the guards in with the regular infantry, or if I'm going to build a guards army. I think I'm going to mix them in with the regular. So, Trotsky, once the top lieutenant and heir presumptive of Vladimir Lenin, died today in a Mexico City hospital. He was attacked in his home with an ice axe by a Spanish national believed to have been in the employ of the NKVD. Who spreads those kind of rumors? He lost the power struggle with Stalin of control. Yep. Trotsky spent the 30s in exile, living in Turkey, France, and Norway, because finally settling in Mexico. He remained a constant critic of Stalin, no more. And the degenerate worker state of the Soviet Union. You see, this is an enemy of the people. I told you. So he's dead, which means we now should have no longer dealing with the Trotskyite plot, which means we should actually be at 80% stability. I am not quite... okay, the Trotsky... Okay, there is still a follow-up thing. The fear of betrayal remains. Has the Trotskyite plot really been purged? So there's a little nagging paranoia here with Stalin, but honestly, it's not an awful lot. That means we are now actually from this getting better political power, more factory output, and less consumer goods. So we're down. Yep, we got 2 factories back. And we can actually, yeah, we've completed that mission. So we can begin, we can send our 2 operatives over to Germany, start building an intel network, and see if we can, I mean, we have a research cooperation with Germany, right? See if we can start infiltrating their, their research and get some things out of that, steal some blueprints maybe, you know, stuff like that. Maybe we can get some of the aircraft. We do, however, also need to actually improve our everything here, but we'll get to that. We could still get Kalinin, which gives us another 15% stability, which would get us up to 90. I'm also kind of interested. I don't really want the NKVD guys because they all reduce stability, but we could get the Elusive Gentleman for a 3rd slot, and then start upgrading the intelligence agency as well. And what can we currently do? We can run socialist education in Spain, but it's going to cost us political power, which I am currently in need of, so we're not doing that. Okay, so our next big step, the 3rd 5-year plan. Once that's complete, and we're already in 1939, once that's complete, then things will get interesting. Another thing we can do, what is it that's available? Oh yeah, so we can expand resource production. Not really gonna go for it just yet, because I'm not short of resources at this point. And yes, we will eventually, but this also costs factories, so we need our factories. And send the additional divisions to over there. And other than that, everything else... Can we get any more air wings up? I can't train them anyway, but I mean, we're worth getting them up already. No, we just got a couple of those. So fighters are still, even though they are not actually doing anything, we're still short on fighters. And it's going to take over a year to fulfill that. Yeah, we definitely need to ramp up the industrial production. Although these fighters are all prototype, or these planes are all prototypes, so we're not going to do an awful lot with those. However, we do need a bunch more of medium tanks, and we are starting to build up some towed anti-tank, but that also needs to significantly be improved. We are having a relatively decent stockpile of that, but also we need more infantry equipment and everything else. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of things, but we're already at 85% production efficiency, so Soviet production efficiency is very good. The German Reich claims Memel. Okay. So they are expanding into the Baltics. Okay. This is all starting to look very, very sketchy. But, well, so far the Germans have not been necessarily a threat, but a research partner. So, who are we to say that things really will go bad? So, I want to wait for the KV-1. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit of a waiting game. It's more of the political and build-up at this point, because we're not actually fighting anybody. But because again, we haven't done the foreign policy focuses, which is because I would like to make sure that we are focusing on the industry. Okay, and I want to see the KV-1. So the basic heavy tank chassis is done, which should unlock the KV-1. And I believe this is still ahead of time. We're still researching radio detection. This is all ahead of time. I don't have the bonuses yet, so I don't want to start those yet. However, I can already do the advanced machine tools, which is going to get us to 100% production efficiency. I don't know if it can go above 100%, but we'll find out. So once that's done, actually, in fact, yeah, I've got things finishing up. So let's take a quick look at the KV-1. I'm very curious to see that. There he is, the KV-1, the beast from the east. It's got a diesel engine, welded armor, torsion bar suspension. We've got a 3-man turret over here and a medium cannon on this thing. How does she actually compare to the A20? So the KV-1 4.7 kilometers is definitely slow, and the piercing is slightly better. The armor is significantly better, but other than that, it's actually not that great of a tank. It's very, very slow. But we are going to build some of them, just because. So we are going to start a KV-1 production line, and we are just going to build a couple of them, just to, you know, we have a KV-2 coming up, and we might actually, you know what? We're not going to create it like that. Maybe we can improve it a little bit. So can we get a KV-1A actually going? So first of all, welded armor is fine. I think torsion bar is not great. So we could go for the I mean, torsion bar gives us decent reliability, but this thing is slow. Then again, it's an infantry tank, so we might not even have to throw it in with anything else. We'll just leave it as an infantry tank and just have an infantry tank sort of division. Heavy armaments. This is the what do we have right now in there? We have the medium cannon actually. How would that look like if we threw a heavy cannon in there? That would reduce our speed even further, but would definitely make a difference in terms of piercing. So I think we're going to switch that thing over to a larger gun. There we go. And then what else can we throw in there? The reliability isn't great. We could throw a couple of machine guns in there, but they're not that expensive. We could put fuel drums on it, which gives us additional fuel capacity, but it's going to make it slower. We could throw some sloped armor on it and make the armor even better, but honestly, I think the armor is good enough for what it is. Extra ammo storage is going to give it defense and breakthrough, but dunks the reliability. We could get wet ammunition storage, but and I think I'm just going to slap like 2 machine guns onto that thing, and then we'll call it a day. So that's the KV-1A. Save that, and then we are going to start building that thing and see if we can get a couple of heavy tanks going as well. We're still building light tanks. We can later utilize these for scouts, but we are slowly starting to produce the KV-1s in some numbers. And yes, I know these are not the perfect efficiencies, but that is what it is. Okay, we'll do until the 5-year plan is done. Then I'll call it up. Will you be quiet? And then I'll call it an episode. So let's get that out of the way. and 6 days, and then we can do the industrial research. I think that should finish up about the same time. Yeah. So the third 5-year plan is in effect, which gives us costs us severely in factories, but it also gives us production efficiency cap for civilian factory construction speed and all kinds of useful things. So next up, more importantly, we are going to not go here, although this is also interesting. There are a lot of things we should. We're not going to shift to armaments production just yet, and also that's because I think this is much more valuable for now. So we're going to do that. That's a 70-day focus, but we can, once the artillery is finished, and then we'll switch and see if we can kick off the construction already. Okay, so that's done, which means we now need to start producing. Where is it? Towed artillery needs to switch to the 107mm. So the 76mm field guns get upgraded, and we'll switch, which costs us in efficiency. Yep, but that's okay. We'll deal with it as we go. So industry, we have a 75% bonus for construction. That means in 1 year we can get construction 4, which means we are totally going to start that already. And then that'll again speed up our rapid industrialization, because we do need to get our military factories up and get our arms production sorted pronto, such that we can manage to employ all these divisions. How would a heavy tanks division would also lose like 250 tanks or so. So maybe we get one of them out, and then we'll see how that goes. I don't want a chief of navy. I could throw somebody in here. Nah, he's just a specialist. Not that interested. And also, again, I'm completely confused. I thought that these used to give army XP. That seems to no longer be the case. Or maybe I just misremember. But anyway, in the next episode, we are still concentrating on building up our industry. And once we're done with these, I'll have to double check my notes here, but yeah, once we're done with that, we are going to head over. We've got a lot of things that we need to do, but we're going to head over to the Comintern and the foreign policy focuses, because I would like to do at least Comintern, Baltic security, Baltic claims, and securing Leningrad by end of 39. So we've got 2 more, so 140 days. And then we've got 35, 70, 140, so 280. So yeah, we're a little bit behind, but late 39, early 1940, we should be able to do the secure Leningrad, and I think we're on track with these things. And then after that, the main focus is going to be around mobilization plan, get the rehabilitated military, and we need to do something about the Air Force. So. Flying clubs is going to help with the air accident chance, and the same goes with women in aviation, and a lot of pilot training programs. So that these and the ground troop focuses are what we're going to be focusing after that, and we'll get to a war footing. But probably the next episode is still going to be on just building up more things. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.